Good evening. February 18th, 2014. Notice of this meeting stating the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required in the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. This meeting is called to order. Mr. Clerk, please conduct the prayer and flag salute.
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. In the event of emergency, the proper method for exiting the council chambers through the three rear doors. Occupants should proceed down the staircase out the front door and move away from the area of the front steps. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public portion of the session at the end of the meeting, please sign the white sheets provided in front of the room. Please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate. If you must take a call, please leave the council chambers to do so. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Colbus,
He's excused.
Byer,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Armstead,
Here.
Cosby Hurling,
Here.
Sadowski,
Here.
Minichinko,
Here.
Yamakaitis,
Here.
Medina,
Here.
Kaczynski, here. Mr. Moore.
Here. Okay, I was fixing my phone. I'll ask for a motion for approval of minutes of January 21st, 2014.
Council President, make a motion for the approval of minutes for January 21st, 2014. Ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Cosby Hurling,
Yes.
Sadowski,
Yes.
Minichinko,
Yes.
Yamakaitis,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. I'm very proud that we have a presentation this evening for Black History Month. I'd like to ask Councilwoman Cosby Hurling and Councilwoman Yamakaitis and the mayor to please come to the podium, to the well there.
Council
and
President.
ask Mildred Curry.
In the absence of Mrs. Mildred Curry Johnson, we are going to do the presentation at the February 25th celebration of African American history. She was supposed to come, but unfortunately she's not here.
Okay. All right, so we'll move on. We'll move on to ordinance on hearings. This is the date and time established for the public hearing on ordinances. On hearing, ordinance 5801.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic as follows. 7-33, Handicap Parking Regulations, 7-33.1A, Handicap Parking on Street. Add 1201 DeWitt Terrace, 416 Southwood Avenue, delete 925 Clinton Street.
Mr. Clerk, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Is there anyone in the chambers wish to be heard on the ordinance? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion.
Yes, Council President. I ask that we adopt ordinance 58-01 and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Cosby Hurling,
Yes.
Sadowski,
Yes.
Minichinko,
Yes.
Yamakaitis,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Mr. Clerk, 5802.
An ordinance authorizing special emergency appropriations pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-53 for severance liability resulting from accrued leave in connection with the layoff or retirement of employees in the amount of $600,000.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Is there anyone in the chamber who wishes to be heard on the ordinance? Seeing none, I ask for a motion, please.
Council President, make a motion for the passage of ordinance 5802 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Cosby Hurling,
No.
Sadowski,
Yes.
Minichinko,
Yes.
Yamakaitis,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Mr. Clerk, 5803.
An ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Establishing a Schedule of Titles, Salary Ranges, and Regulations for Maintaining the Classification and Salary Standardization Plan of All Employees of the City of Linden," passed August 15, 1995, and approved August 16, 1995.
Mr. Clerk, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any written communication?
No, sir.
Does anyone in the chamber wishes to speak on this ordinance? Motion, please.
Yes, Council President, I make the motion to adopt ordinance 58-03 and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Cosby Hurling,
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Minichinko,
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. We'll move into the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the city council and be enacted in one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. In the event, the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in normal sequence on the agenda. We have items 1 through 4. Does anybody in the audience wish to remove anything from the consent agenda? I'll ask for a motion, please.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we move the consent agenda and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Cosby Hurling,
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Minichinko.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. We'll move into committee reports, and Councilman Kalabas is excused this evening, so I ask Councilman Byer.
Yes, Mr. President, I have a report here from the Construction Code. They issued 103 permits, 14 certificates, and they collected $58,469 in fees. I have a small report here from LindenTV 36. Councilman Brown and myself were on that committee, and we're in the process of getting Linden High School sports on LindenTV 36. It's a time that, we started doing that. They used to do it a long time ago, and then when the city took over the channel, they stopped giving us the information to put on the TV. So we're going to seek that out again and put the sports back on television for the people of Linden. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilman. And just for the public's information, Linden's is also carried on Verizon Channel 42. Councilman Brown?
Thank you, Council President. From the Finance and Budget Review Committee, approval is requested for the following finance actions. The payment of bills totaling $1,057,794.24. The bills have been signed by the Mayor, Council President, and Finance Chairman, and the detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the clerk's office. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Cosby Hurling,
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Minichinko.
Yes.
Yemakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Council President. In addition, I would like to let residents know I took over from Councilman Cozio, Chairman of the Reconsolidation Committee. We have had some meetings with Public Works, the Fire Department, Public Property, and the Police Department. Speaking of such, one of the issues that came up with Public Works is something I think that we need to address as a city due to the number of complaints that we had with snow plowing. So back on on February 4th, we did meet with individuals from Public Property and Public Works to go over some of the issues before the storm. And I guess we have a representative here from Public Works, so I want to speak about some of the issues we are having in Public Works and how it has affected the snow plowing, so residents get a better understanding as far as what the city's going through, and that this is an issue that we will be correcting. I know there's been some information that's been put out there and basically blaming Public Works, and I want to say that's not the case. Public Works has been working very hard. I'm proud of Public Works for what they've done. Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, their staff has been reduced to levels which basically they used to be able to go out with 3 crews of snow plowing, and now they're reduced to 1. And At this point, it's, whether you put it on me or other council members here, it's our job to make sure that Public Works has the tools and resources to do their jobs. And I don't feel that Public Works should be blamed for the mishaps of this last snowstorm. So with that in mind, I asked one of our individuals, or even Al, if they want to both come up to explain some of the shortcomings that happen with Public Works and what we're going to do to fix this. No, come on.
Mr. Scaldino, will you use the microphone, please?
Yeah, and Louis, if
Yeah,
you
turn
can,
it on, too.
look, if you can start off and just turn around, if you could start off, and one interesting fact as far as the levels of snow that we've had compared to, I think you compared it in 1993, and the manpower you had and compare that to now and how that is affected the. Okay.
Push the button there, Mr. Scaldino.
And the last time we had a winter like this was probably 93, 94. I remember it well because we bought our house in Sunnyside at that time. We had 6 people in the office.
Your microphone went out.
You gotta take your finger off. Once it's red, it's on.
Red.
There it is.
There it is. We had 6 people in the office. We had a superintendent, assistant superintendent, 2 general supervisors. I believe we had 7 supervisors and 117 men. Now we have under 80 men, and that includes the girls, and no superintendent, no assistant superintendent, 2 general supervisors, and 4 regular supervisors. The people that we have now that are in the plows, and I could see it myself, they got better this last storm. They've never seen a snowstorm like this. The amount of snow that we keep getting. They don't know the routes like the other guys got. Many years ago, we did away with shotgun drivers. The minute they did away with the shotgun drivers, you lost your training, your method of training the younger guys. So this whole year has been a learning session. But I could tell from the last storm that I think they did a better job. And there was more cooperation from the taxpayers if they get their cars off the road. But I only have 1 shift of men. I have 30 CDL drivers. I need 34. So every storm, I'm 3 to 4 garbage trucks or large trucks short. So every ward gets shorted a truck, but they're dispensed evenly throughout the city. That's about it.
And Lou,
Thank you,
can
Mr.
I'm
Scaldino.
not done with my report. Thank you. Lou, can you explain as far as with the CDL license, how we have to then, well, what's the other alternative, how we're using pickup trucks and how does have an effect?
Well, yeah, if we don't have the bigger trucks in the bigger snow, the pickup trucks are taking a beating like you can't imagine. There's some streets we can't even get our garbage trucks down because of the parking issue. So the minute we send a pickup, the pistons are popping all over. I must have went through 10, 15 pistons just last storm. And the reason is you need the big trucks. 9th and 10th Ward, we need big trucks because the streets are wide, it's a big route, and the little trucks are having to do the job. And we're laying a beating on them. I think I went through 4 transmissions. Right out, I think it was 4 transmissions. 2 of them are his trucks from public property. But they're just, we just don't have the resources we had at one time.
And the last thing, Lou, I'm sorry, is one of the other complaints residents had was it was a matter of ice. And if you could explain the levels of salt and how that affected the city.
Yeah, there's no salt available. So we would normally really salt heavily. I could not salt the side streets. And it's not only us, it's the county can't get it, the state took most of the salt. We have right now, if we got an ice storm in Linden, I could only do the main drags. I could only do and that's it. I don't think anybody, I think Jersey City just got a delivery of 100 ton.
And thank you, Lou.
Any members of the audience have any questions for Mr. Scaldino?
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.
And lastly, while Lou represents Public Works, Al McDonald represents Public Property. And briefly, if Al can talk about, I know one of the other complaints was the train station as well as Wood Avenue. Now, Al, he represents a lot of the public property guys who would shovel these, and Al can explain the levels that we're at with that as well.
Over the past several years, we've experienced downsizing.
Mike, your microphone's off there.
We've experienced downsizing across the board. I think that's become pretty apparent in all aspects of city services. Along with the plowing, of course, the snow removal. We used to do snow removal on Wood Avenue, and I'm sure that everybody here can attest to the fact that we no longer do that. We do the best we can with the resources that we have. Our manpower is roughly we're about 35% down from where we were 10 years ago. When that happens, there are going to be deficiencies along the way. I think overall we do a pretty good job with the resources that we have. However, there are going to be substantial differences from where we were 10 years ago. As Mr. Scaldino said, with the plowing, less trucks on the road, less drivers. We also have less manpower to do the snow removal as far as sidewalks are concerned, and just in general, the overall appearance of the city. We are maintaining what we have to maintain, but we no longer are able to do the extras that have been done in the past, and I think that is where the deficiencies are at this point. But there's not a whole lot that we can do about that in this situation as far as the downsizing is concerned. When you're 35% down across the board in manpower, equipment, and budget, which is exactly where we are right now, this is where it, when we have a situation like this with the amount of snow that we had a rough winter, I think it becomes apparent at that point.
Mr. McDonald, just real quick, roughly how many guys do you have that, I guess, that take care of you have these snow levels, take care of the parks, Wood Avenue, the train station?
Well, in the public property division, as far as manpower is concerned, as far as what we would generally have for snow removal, we're down about 30%, from around 30 people to around 20 people. We do utilize people across the board from the different divisions. As far as Public Works, when we can free up some people from there. But overall, it's in general, we're down 30% across the board. So when I say we have about 20 people, that's a maximum that we have to do the removal as far as the sidewalks and everything else is concerned.
And one last question, as far as your equipment, what was some of the equipment, I guess, you went through, snow plowers and things like that?
Well, the equipment, we do have sufficient equipment to take care of what we need to take care of. The maintenance of the equipment is another story. When you have a winter like we've had, you experience breakdowns on a regular basis. And when you don't have the staff we used to be able to have a crew inside maintaining the equipment during the storm. We no longer have that advantage. So when the equipment breaks down, we have there's a time period where we're not doing what we should be doing. We have to address that on, the off hours when we're no longer removing the snow. So it's not so much that we don't have enough equipment, we don't have the maintenance staff to maintain it properly.
Thank you, Al.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, what do you attribute this problem to? Years of inaction from previous administrations?
I would say lack of planning. I think, and that's what I want to stress with the public is back in February 4th, and we had a previous meeting back in January, is coming up with a game plan with Public Works as well as the police departments where we want to get our levels back up to provide services. One thing that we keep hearing over and over again from residents, which is absolutely right, is that they're paying more in taxes and getting less services. And what we can attribute this to is mismanagement of budgets in the past where we downsized so quickly, where during the meeting, we learned, just like Mr. Scaldino pointed out, they don't even have enough staff where they can have a training program where people who were plowing were inexperienced as opposed to people in the past. So this is where some of the complaints came in, where streets weren't plowed or streets were missed. Lack of knowledge from the younger guys, and there's other issues as well. This is something that the Finance Committee as well as the Reconsolidation Committee is going to look at, where we're going to come up with some type of a 5-year plan where slowly we're going to build up or rebuild these 2 departments. Like I said, Public Works is one, as well as the Police Department, where we're short 15 police officers, which is having an effect and taxing our police department as well. So in the months to come, I want to let residents know you're going to be hearing more about these reports, but I thought it was important that tonight at least they heard about some of the issues we are having with the snow plowing. They have been heard, they will be addressed, but at the same time, that Public Works is working the hardest, and it falls back, in my opinion, back on the council, where we need to come up with a game plan to make sure that they have the tools and resources to do their job efficiently, and that these guys really do work their butts off. I mean, for the most part, people forget that about 90% of these guys live in Linden, so they want these streets plowed as well, and with that, that's the end of my report.
So, Mr. Brown, we agreed to conduct a special session of the council to address these problems?
Yes, I'm sorry, thank you for reminding me. So I believe it would be March 11th, if I'm wrong, someone please correct me, where we'll be having a special budget meeting where the goal of this budget is to come up with priorities. I always believe that your budget should set the direction, whether it's a corporation or a town, of what you want to do. We only have a limited amount of funds, and we need to set the priorities. What is it that we're looking to do in Linden? I've said this last night, and I said at previous meetings that, if you want ratables to come in, residents to come in, if you want businesses to come in, there's 3 things you have to look at. You have to look at your Board of Ed, you have to look at crime/police, you have to look at your public services. Those are the big main 3. We have no jurisdiction over the school, but police and public works are the 2 things. And during this budget meeting, I want a game plan as far as what we're going to do to address these issues and bring Linden back to the way it should be. So that meeting will be March 11th. Other than that, end of report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Armstead?
Yes, Mr. President, I have the following report. Enclosed, I have a check for $6,159.09 from Atlantic Coast Fibers. This is money we received for our co-mingled recyclables. The check has been forwarded to the clerk's office. I'd like to talk a little bit about the storm that we had, well, the storms that we had. As Al McDonald mentioned earlier, we are 30 to 35% short in manpower. That being said, and there's a reason for that. We simply don't have the kind of money that we had before in our budget. Addressing this from a financial perspective is going to be very difficult, because I don't see any time in the near future where we're going to have this sudden windfall of cash or money. But what I think we do have to do is, like any other organization or any other group, you develop a different strategy. And one of the strategies that we have to deal with is perhaps increasing the number of emergency streets that we have in our wards, okay? And in doing so, that will allow those streets to be cleared a little bit more efficiently. And once those streets are cleared, perhaps people who are parking on the side streets can now go to those emergency streets, and it will allow DPW to perhaps do a better job on those side streets. And my ward particularly, what we're looking at is perhaps declaring Bauer, Lincoln, McCandless, Carnegie, and West Baltimore as emergency streets. We'd also like to take a street like East Blanky Street that runs from the railroad tracks all the way across town, declare that as an emergency street during a storm. So now you have streets going both ways that you can actually have vehicles access all the way across town. East Blanky Street and East Curtis Street would be 2 primary streets, 2 examples of streets that could be made as emergency streets to help address the problem. We also would like to utilize some of the other public buildings, like the school system, like school number 5, perhaps school number 2, school number 4. Various schools, we could plow them out early and allow residents to move their cars there as to reduce the amount of cars that are on the streets, so when the plow trucks come through, they have a better shot at clearing the streets. Again, if we're going to tackle this from a financial perspective, we're going to have a very difficult time because we don't really have a lot of money. The budgets are very tight. I don't see, like I said, where we're going to have any tremendous windfalls of cash in the immediate future. So it's like anything else. You know, you have to, even in our households, when things are a little tighter, we tend to do things a little bit differently. In my house, we turn the thermostat down a little bit more because we don't want to have that big heat bill. So, you know, the city, we have to do the same thing with our departments, and I think if we tackle the snow removal problem with the same sort of energy, I believe that we can, we may not solve the problem totally, but I think we will have a better, we'll make conditions a lot better than what they were, and we won't experience the same amount of the same amount of problems. One of the other things that we have to take into consideration here is that this has been a very, very, very bad season with snow, so, you know, you have to take that into consideration as well. We don't want to beat anybody over the head, but that has to be taken into consideration. Last but not least, although it's not my report, later on this evening, we're going to be hiring 3 individuals in public property. Initially, these gentlemen were going to be hired in DPW, but we put them in public property. It is our intention so we can cross-utilize these gentlemen. If they are hired in public property, they can work in the back of a garbage truck. If Al McDonald needs these gentlemen to work in City Hall, or he needs them somewhere else, he can have them moved to another location. Now, I got a chance to talk to Mr. Julius and Cornelius Daves. I didn't get a chance to talk to Mr. Brown, but I also explained to them some other benefits, potential benefits of being hired in that capacity. And maybe if he gets a little time, he can talk to you about the benefits of such a move. So basically, that concludes my reports, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cosby Hurley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a report from the 5th Ward community. We want to, well, some of the neighbors have shared their concerns about the snow. Others have shared their positive, concerns about the snow. They're grateful for the job that was done in the 5th Ward. And when I got a call from a resident who was concerned, I went out and I checked it out. I made phone calls to dispatch. I made phone calls to the general supervisors, okay? What we were going through with all of this, the snow required a spirit of cooperation, not only from the department managers, the crews, but also the residents. I asked, could we use the multipurpose center parking lot? We were granted that permission like we were in years past. I also spoke with one of the property owners, actually one of their administrators today, because there's a lot of property on Chandler Avenue where the residents don't have parking. So we ask for them in the future to please allow us to use their parking for, the neighbors who are on an emergency snow street. The one thing I do want to say is, again, the spirit of cooperation. We're all in this together. Lou Scaldino, who actually, he was reported as being an interim superintendent, is a general supervisor who worked and worked and worked. So we appreciate you. My neighbors have sent emails that I will forward to you that you can forward to your crew members as well. So just with all of that, we appreciate you, and never will we complain in public about this. Councilman Armstead has recommended that we all, in each of our wards, look at more emergency roads. I think that the emergency roads that we have are sufficient. Again, it's a spirit of cooperation. If the people would move their cars when the snowstorm is coming, we wouldn't have to worry about it increasing the workload for DPW. I mean, I get it, it's a good idea. In retrospect, we can't afford it, and we just heard how many people were short. So I just wanted to say that. I'm the chairperson of Public Property and Community Services, and the gentlemen who were mentioned tonight were part of the seasonal crew. As you know, we have 2 departments within the city where people are hired interim, and then they're afforded an opportunity to apply for any positions that become available. So these guys were working within the 6 months. They did a good job, apparently. They were recommended by the department. So we appreciate you and look forward to you getting that cross-training, getting those CDLs, and being here for the long haul for our city. We also have in the public property which is a huge, huge department, we're going to be doing, instead of monthly meetings, we're going to be doing bi-weekly meetings. And the reason for that is one of the newer council members has said, things get lost, from one month to another. And so my intention is to make sure that we stay in the public properties or the department managers and supervisors in their face, because we need to hold everyone accountable for what we are doing, what our plans are, and what's working well, what's not working well. So we're going to be doing meetings every 2 weeks. We have public property and recreation. So if you have concerns, feel free to share your concerns with the supervisors and the departments, because we'll be meeting with them to see how we can make the necessary adjustments. I reported in October, actually, that recreation was supposed to be starting programs for our children. We're still waiting for those programs. We're still waiting for the games to be delivered to the LMP Center. But again, we're going to be holding folks accountable, because there's no reason, we have a building, we need to utilize it for our children and our seniors and our young adults who go there. From public property, we also have a report from the transportation supervisor. He's submitting January 2014 monthly financial report from the Division of Transportation and Parking. The report is going to include the collection of parking meters, railroad daily parking lots, railroad parking permits, and merchant parking permits for a grand total of $56,519.86. So that's from public property. As was mentioned earlier, we are going to have a celebration of African American history. Since I've been here, I've been trying to just, bring a little bit more, awareness to different cultures. I had the pleasure of attending the Pulaski with my neighbor, Chris Lukenda. He was a grand marshal this year. It was awesome. We do Black History. This year, we're cooperating with Recreation, and we're going to recognize one of our own Linden residents who's a patent holder, so Mrs. Curry, on the 25th Recreation Center, LMPC, 6:30 p.m. We are going to proceed that with like a really short community update. So that's going to count as our community meeting for this month. And I wanted to just let everybody know, if you did not go to casino night, you missed a good night. It was an awesome night. I really, 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 really wanted to win the grill, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to try and put my fix in. No, I'm only joking. But it's a good fundraiser for the senior citizens. And if you missed it, plan to go next year. It's an awesome event. In the 5th Ward, we have, I think that's it for the 5th Ward, public property. Before I finish, I want to just say that we had a public property meeting, and I just want to give a couple of highlights from the meeting. Besides having every 2 weeks, we're going to have more accountability. We're going to actually have more maintenance programs established so that we can maintain the public property that we have. We're going to look to decrease our overtime, which is mandatory overtime because you have to have coverage. So we're going to be looking to do a lot of different things. I know that the chairman of negotiations may, mention a couple of things that we're working on to make savings, and we're going to probably be instituting a couple of small fees for public property, and you'll be hearing about that in the near future. Before I close, I want to congratulate in advance our firemen. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Saturday night to celebrate your promotions and all of those retirees. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Sadowski?
Thank you, Council President. Thank you for concluding your report.
I could have kept going,
Okay, a couple of things I have to mention. First, the City Clerk's Licensing Division is submitting this monthly report for the month of January 2014. The office issued 15 dog licenses and 45 miscellaneous licenses and collected $5,433. The following license, permits, and transcripts issued to the City Clerk's office during the month of January 2014 and fees received have been turned over to the municipal treasurer of the City of Linden. Total transactions were 464. City revenue was $6,488.62. State revenue, $325, which gives us the grand total of $6,813.62. This was from Mr. Calabas. First, I would like to congratulate all the firemen who got promotions. I'd like to, William Haskell for getting the deputy chief, and for the following: Sal Principato, Ronald Montez de Osa, Michael Fernandez, and Chris Rooney. Congratulations, you deserve the promotion, so we're looking forward to this. Okay, in the 6th Ward, most of it was with the snow, I know. Everyone's talked about that. I really don't want to get into it that much, but if you compared this city with other cities, they did a good job. I think what killed us all was the freezing. In the 6th Ward, right around St. Teresa's, they are putting in pipes, water pipes. They store them in the street. So if you can picture the snow, these pipes, everything snowed in, it got pretty tight there. One instance, person couldn't get out of the driveway. We called them up. They did move the pipes, which I didn't believe they would. So it's tough. Please, help your neighbors out. We had a couple of complaints, but like I said, move your cars, please. If the snow comes, try to move them off. Use neighbors' driveways and that if you get permission. Someone had asked about using St. Teresa's parking lot. That's a private enterprise. I would have to get permission from the church to use that as free parking. And the priest, I haven't seen the priest, so to ask him that. One of the constituents, who mentioned his name, was supposed to come up here tonight in front of council and talk about this. He said he probably wouldn't make it. Let me just real quick, I said I would bring up his problem. He has 2 homes on Stiles Street, and what happened was one home, they blocked his driveway with ice, which happened right away. Everyone got that. And the other one was on the corner of Linden and Stiles Street. They blocked the crosswalk. But as we mentioned, after that first night, it was all ice. It's pretty tough. Now, he was supposed to come up and talk. I don't see him here, so I said I would mention it. After talking about the snow, spring is coming. It is down the road. First of all, before I preface this, if you sent me any kind of emails for the last month and a half, my computer doesn't work. I am computer illiterate. I have to get a new computer. So if you did send something, give me another month to get a computer. But if you have any kind of streets to be fixed that you think, sidewalks to be done, trees to be trimmed, anything ahead of time, please give me a call at my home. And the phone number is 908-862-0749. That's 862-0749. Trying to get a list ahead of time so we can submit it when the weather gets fine and it can be looked after by the DPW. Don't forget, we still have senior citizen clubs. I go to their meetings twice a week, and I have a good time. The last couple of weeks, due to the snow, there haven't been any meetings. But if you're interested, one is at Trumley Point, one is at the Gregoria Center, the men's club. Please come. In fact, we're looking for more men. It's like 2 to 1 women, but it's the men's club. So please try to come if you can. We congratulated all the firemen, and like I said, please, with the weather, be careful, watch the children, and have a good snow day. Thank you. That concludes my message.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Minichenko.
Thank you, Council President. Due to the inclement weather, I don't have a landfill committee report because we had to cancel our weather, but I did have the opportunity to sit in a couple other meetings, and one of them was the Shade Tree Committee meeting. And I'd just like to thank its 2 new members, Mrs. Diane Wilverding and Mr. Ron Martins, for volunteering their time. And also, congratulations to the newly elected chairman, Jack Sheehy. Also, and probably stealing some of the mayor's thunder here. I sat in on a zoning board meeting, and good news, we have a private developer is buying that old Kmart building there, the Sears on Avenue C, and what he wants to do is he's really going to beautify the building with new facades and everything, and he's going to separate it into individual stores. There's going to be like, I think, 10 individual stores, and just a few, to mention a few, is Buffalo Wild Wings is going to go in there, a Hibachi Grill, a Blink Health Club and Spa, a TJ Maxx, a K Jewelers, and a Party City. So I think that'll really help out that area there. Also like to thank the residents of the 7th Ward for the last snow we had. I would say 90% of them got their cars off the emergency streets, and like Lou mentioned, that's a big help, you know, and riding through the ward for hours and checking on things. The neighbors, they weren't throwing the snow in the street, so I thank them for that. I actually seen a few of them putting snow in garbage cans and wheeling it to the side and dumping it. So I really appreciate that. That was good. I'd like to recognize the firemen on their promotions and their retirements. And like, this is, what, 5th Ward Councilwoman. I'm waiting for Saturday night's retirement party.
That's right,
What else we have here? Oh, also, and last but not least, I would like to recognize one of our 7th Ward residents. I don't know, many of you might know him. On February 6th, Nick Tekula became the 3rd wrestler in the history of Linden to record over 100 wins. And now he's on his way to try to become the all-time wins leader, which I believe is held by Dylan Franks. I think it's like 115, so good luck to you, Nick. And so on behalf of the residents, I'd like to thank Nick. Nick. If anyone needs to contact me, you can call me at 862-6265 or email me at mminarchenko@linden-nj.org. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Yamamoto.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected a total of $2,950.25 for the month of January 2014. I would also like to congratulate the Fire Department on their promotions and the retirements, as well as welcome our public property laborers on board. Wish you the best of luck. For the 8th Ward, I just want to mention this was a rough month for all of us. I want to thank everyone for their cooperation during the snowstorm. As Mr. Scaldino mentioned, they lost their shotgun drivers, but they had me out there with our snow team. They, you know, they could get a little huffy and puffy here and there, but I'm used to dealing with them. So we got the job done, you know, opening up the snow routes. People were able to get onto the other streets to get cars moved, and we saw the storm, even though it was a rough storm, it brought out the best in most people. You know, people were sharing driveways, helping shovel for their elderly neighbors, and that's the things we want to see. But also, listening to some of the city residents, one thing, even after Hurricane Sandy, that we're seeing is, you know, there's a lack of communication regarding things that are going on during these snow emergencies. And I think we can be proactive a little bit more in this. And I took the liberty of speaking to Freeholder Chairman Chris Hudak about to see if Linden could actively get involved with the Union County First Alert. And this is a feasible thing. We could notify people about moving their cars, garbage collection being canceled, any information that we need to dispense quickly. So I urge this council that we move forward on getting involved with that Union County First Alert. I also want to make mention about the Public Works Garage. We're still not up and running on the 700 Lower Road, so we were also battling tight quarters trying to get equipment out. So I'd just like to thank everyone for actively working together, the police, fire department shoveling out the hydrants, and the public works, and the residents. Everybody working together was able, got through this. So thank you, everyone. Last month, I spoke about a traffic study on Ashton Avenue. I met with the Traffic Bureau, and we are gonna, as soon as this weather breaks, put more active police presence there to see if there's a pattern with the speeding, and also look to put up more signage. And we're looking into the feasibility of putting a speed bump to slow drivers down coming out Route 1 and 9. I'll be having a community meeting soon as the weather breaks, and I will update you more on that. Presently, the water company is installing lines in the 8th Ward on Allen Street and Essex Avenue, as Councilman Sadowski mentioned. There are pipes in the street, so please be careful. Okay, and I was also asked to mention from the General Pulaski Memorial Parade Committee of St. Teresa, they're seeking candidates for Miss and Junior Miss Polonia. The age for Miss Polonia is 16 to 23, and the age for Junior Miss candidates is 8 to 15. Candidates must have one parent of Polish heritage. Interested candidates, please call me at 908-925-2309 to obtain an application. The deadline for the application is March 1st, and they will also be having a fish and chips fundraiser dinner on Sunday, March 16th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the St. Teresa School Hall to raise money for the Linden Parade contingent, one of the largest contingents to go down Fifth Avenue in New York City in October. The cost of the tickets is $20 for adults, $12 for children. For tickets, please call Danny at 925-2309. Again, for any of this information I'm mentioning regarding these announcements, and anyone in the 8th Ward that would like to reach me, my number is 908-925-2309, or email me at councilwomanmichelle@gmail.com. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Medina?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I do have a Personnel Committee report. As you guys may all know, they're pretty lengthy, so if I get your last name wrong, I apologize in advance. All right. And the Personnel Committee report, number one, in the Police Department, the hiring of 3 per diem public safety telecommunicators effective March 3rd, 2014 at the rate of $10 per hour. Karina Kozak, Alexis McKenzie, Atasia Ingram. Number 2, in the Fire Department, effective March 1st, 2014, the promotion of William Haskell to the position of Deputy Chief at the annual salary of $140,666, subject to the retirement of Deputy Chief John Trout. Number 3, in the Fire Department, effective March 1st, 2014, the promotion of the following personnel to the position of Fire Captain, subject to the retirement of Deputy Chief Trout at the annual salary of $111,707. Salvatore Principato, Christopher Ward, Brian Costre, Peter Dente, Andrew Killinabel, Michael Vogel. Number 4, in the Fire Department, effective March 1st, 2014, the promotion of the following personnel to the position of Fire Lieutenant, subject to the retirement of Deputy Chief Traub at the annual salary of $102,436. Jason Holobinko, Ronald Montes de Oca, Michael Fernandez, Christopher Rooney. Number 5, in the Police Department, the assignment of Wendy Slavinsky to the position of Group Leader in Dispatch at a stipend of $2,000, set appointment to be served at the pleasure of the Council. Number 6, in the Department of Public Property and Community Services, effective March 1st, 2014, the appointment of laborers, Tier 2 at the rate of $11.50 per hour. The following individual: Lawrence Julius, Cornelius Daves, Daniel Brown. Number 7, the approval of FMLA/NJFLA leaves for the following personnel: employee ID 100317, paid FMLA from 2/7/14 to 2/28/14. Employee ID 86, paid FMLA from 1/13/14 to 2/28/14. Employee 179, paid FMLA from 1/4/14 to 2/14. And employee 108277, paid FMLA from 12/29/13 to 2/2/14. I seek a motion for a second. Yes.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
He stepped out for a moment.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Yagowski?
Yes.
Minichino?
Yes.
Demokaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
I also want to add, well, first, let's congratulate our firemen and our new hires. If you guys can stand up. Congratulations, gentlemen. Wish you guys all all the best and continued service to the cities. And I also want to mention, since we're in the fire department and the FMBA really came through this year for the city, not only by addressing the issue with the supervision. The package they put together for the city is allowing us to save over $115,000 this year. So just wanted to let the public know that they came through for the city. They addressed the issue with the supervision, and they're going to allow the city to save $115,000. So it's definitely opening up some positive doors for future negotiations and future dealings with the fire department. So I just wanted to put that out there. Again, thank them for allowing us to work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kuczynski?
Council President, I do have a Ninth Ward report.
I apologize.
Sorry about that. I'm a little bit slow today. First, I want to thank the Public Works for doing a great job with the snow. I know these snowstorms really have brought back some bad memories of 93, 94. When Louis mentioned 93, 94, I was a kid, so I was probably playing football on the streets, or, not the touch, the tackle type. So, as a kid, I enjoy those storms, but as an adult and a homeowner, getting these storms, these weekly storms, is pretty rough on everyone. Moving the cars, cleaning the cars, and shoveling, and it's pretty rough, especially for the seniors. And but I do want to thank the Public Works Department. They've done a fabulous job with the resources that we have and the manpower that we have. And I just have my fingers crossed that we saw our last storm, and we will see spring pretty soon. I also want to thank our police and fire. They were out there during these storms, responding to emergency. Again, they're out there on these bad roads, so I want to thank them for doing a great job and continuing to service the city. I also want to touch base on the recently installed permit parking along Northwood Avenue on the side streets. Been receiving a lot of positive feedback on those streets. The streets are actually clearer now. Before, when it used to snow, we had another Roselle on our side because it was all Roselle residents, and the streets couldn't get plowed. Emergency vehicles couldn't get down those streets to turn onto Northwood Avenue. So this year definitely made a difference with the permit parking. We have issued several summonses, and it's really making a big difference and improving the quality of life of most of the residents down there. So just wanted to point that out as well. I think that might be it. So we do, again, with the Ninth Ward, nothing major. Again, we're still dealing with the same issue with the speeding. Councilwoman Jamakaitis mentioned earlier, speed bump is actually speed humps. We're looking into the idea of installing these on DeWitt Terrace and Orchard Terrace. They're actually 30-inch wide speed humps, go up a few inches. The city actually researched this a few years back. I'm hoping to introduce this to council March or late April, and hopefully the council will consider this, because again, we do have a lot, especially in the Ninth Ward, we have a lot of speeding on DeWitt and Orchard, and you can have a foot of snow down, you still have people that just don't care, and then they tear down these streets like it's their personal roads. So again, it's all about improving public safety for the community, and also improving public safety around those schools. Again, Deerfield, McManus, and School 10. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kuczynski.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I don't want to rehash the issue that we all know. Snow has been a big issue. But to say, echo what Mrs. or Councilwoman Yamakaitis said, there were a number of silver linings that I was pleasantly really happy about. I know hopefully they're listening. I've gotten more than one call about anonymous random neighbors shoveling people's walks and driveways, and I was astonished by that. It's from different parts of our ward. So if those random Good Samaritans are out there, please know that the people you did that for do appreciate it very much, and they thank you for it, and I thank you personally for it. And to DPW, the best compliment I can give is when issues came up and I called, they tried to fix them with no excuses. And things are going to happen. And when storms like this happen, there's going to be some times where things are just maybe a lack of perceived common sense, maybe inexperienced new person here, maybe something the resident might have done. But at the time, it just matters that it gets done. And I do want to commend for when I called, the response was there. It wasn't an excuse. And I know moving forward, it can only get better because everybody's talking about it a lot. So I would like to thank everyone at DPW for that and everybody, the city worker that came through the snow. Snow also affected the committees that I'm on. Revenue Enhancement Committee, we're meeting twice a month to clear up the docket of different ideas that we have. The good thing about revenue enhancement is there's a lot of ideas. The bad thing about revenue enhancement is a lot of those ideas have to get flushed out. What might work for one city and one state might not work for this city and this state because of various bureaucratic reasons, different laws, different ideas. And then sometimes you just have to be careful with who you get involved with when you start talking about earning partnerships in a city. So we had to cancel our one meeting this past Thursday. We're going to be having another one this Thursday to hopefully kind of hammer out a lot of things. Negotiations was another casualty of the snow. We were going to meet with the unions to begin negotiations, but that got canceled. We did have a brief sit-down as a committee, but we are rescheduling, and hopefully the first week of March, we should be able to get everything back on track again now. And it goes without saying, congratulations to the new hires, and congratulations to the individuals in the fire department promoted. I've worked, in the last 2 years as chairman of the fire committee quite closely with a number of you. And also I know a couple of you just from living in Linden. And I would just like to say congratulations. The promotions are well deserved. And the ability for the union to work with the city should give residents hope, because there's rules to the games that we set out, whether it's through state laws, whether it's through contracts, or through whatever. we just playing in a game that has rules. When people come together to try to find ways to make it work, we might not like the game, we might not like the rules, but when we can make it work, that's all the more amazing. So I'd like to thank you for working with us, and also congratulations and best of luck in your continued careers. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, you can give me a call, 908-463-9234, or email me at akaczynski@linden-nj.org. That concludes my comments, Mr. Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. We'll move into the mayor's report.
Thank you, Council President. I'm going to be brief since most of the councilmen stole my thunder, but that's what happens when you're next to last. I'd just like to also congratulate all the individuals that were promoted tonight. I wish you a very successful career in the fire department, and it shows that we have quality fire officers who are striving to be the best in the city of Linden, and we have a fire department that is the best in Union County, if not the state of New Jersey. And I also have to thank the FMBA and the Superior Officers Association for working with the city of Linden to get through some of the speed bumps that we're facing in our fiscal budget. And again, it's very much appreciated, and hopefully all the unions will take the lead of the fire department in regards to working with the city council and my office. The snow, as everybody stated, is wearing on everybody's patience. I'm getting numerous calls and complaints. People have to realize that we got a city of 11.2 square miles to plow streets, and we cannot custom plow everyone's street according to the way they want it done. And we just can't do it. And what doesn't help when people do not remove their cars from the streets. We are strictly enforcing the snow emergency streets. They are all posted. They are some of the main thoroughfares. We towed 20 vehicles this last snowstorm. Again, it makes our Public Works Department operate faster and cleans our streets quicker when we don't have cars to worry about. So even if you're not on a snow emergency street, please pull your car off the street, put it in your driveway, so that we could have better plowed streets. And lastly, don't blow snow in the streets after we clean them with your snow blower. People are constantly doing that. We go and clean a street, and then they blow the snow right back in, and it becomes speed bumps all over the place when it's flattened down by the cars. So again, direct your snow on your front lawn or along the curb and the sidewalk, but not in the street. And lastly, my office, 474-84-93. Call my office for any potholes. We know many of the potholes, but it doesn't hurt when you see a pothole, even if it's duplication, at least we'll make sure we're going to get it. Part of the problem has been the manpower issue and the snow. You can't fill potholes when you have snow that melts with water in the potholes. Once this water starts evaporating or getting cleaned out of the potholes, we will vigorously attack the potholes. We know where many major potholes are. We're trying to stay up on top of it as much as we can, but again, the weather is not cooperating. But don't hesitate to call my office. We have a pothole list. We're going to be continuing it, and this way we know for sure that we're going to get every pothole in the city of Linden eventually. End of report, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move into resolutions 2014-108 through 2014-128. Public comments will be permitted for the specific resolutions to be removed from the consent approval. Please read the synopsis of the resolutions, which have been prepared by the clerk's office. Each is informative and self-explanatory. However, if you wish to address the resolution, the council will entertain questions. Does anyone wish to remove resolutions 108 through 128 on my right? Yes, please. 119? In the back? 110? 120? 123? Thank you. In the center? On my left? Motion on the remainders, please.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolutions 108 to 128, with the exception of number 110, 119, 120, and 123, and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Medichenko?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Ms. Malik, would you like to come up, please? This would be on 110.
When they talk about the ambulance remount for the fire department, this is a regular ambulance?
Chief Rizzo?
Yes. What this is we are taking the box of an existing ambulance and mounting it on a new cab and chassis. The one that we have right now, the motor blew on it. It would be too much money to replace that. It has over 100,000 miles on it, so we're going to use what we have, put it on a new truck.
Okay. And the other thing is, when we had our other ambulance service, I thought Linden owned those ambulances. Did they, or am I incorrect in saying that?
No, they were not. They were owned by the Linden Emergency Medical Services.
Okay. And were we ever able to maybe buy them at like a good price, or?
No, they sold them to someone else.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Wolverding? On 119? Motion, please, on 110.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution 2014-110 and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Medichenko?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
I wanted to ask for a little more explanation on this one.
Ms. Wolferding, this is a resolution which I provided to the council, put forward. Similar one's been done in Clark. What it addresses is the Department of Environmental Protection brings lawsuits against corporations that have done pollution. One example is the Agent Orange facility, Shamrock, in the Passaic River. When they bring this litigation, there's no protection for the municipalities. What happens is the corporate actors have understand how to game the system, and they name every municipality around that may have a tenuous tie to the facility. You know, our sewer pipes happen to go into the bay, so we were named in that. It's a major litigation called Occidental. About half the state is involved in it, and now we've been named in another one, so it's seeking our representatives to maybe address some laws that will reinforce that the municipality should have protection when the DEP is bringing a lawsuit to recoup money for the taxpayers, and the corporations are then suing the taxpayers to have them front the money going in a circle. We're trying to address the situation so that the taxpayers aren't footing a bill for what was really private corporation pollution.
Oh, okay, good. I just was hoping that somehow that would help us reduce the costs that we're spending on the landfill, but I understand now that this is important for us because of all those properties down at the point of Tremley. All right, thank you.
Thank you for that question. A motion, please?
Mr. President, I move for approval of Resolution 2014-119 and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Minichinko?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. On 120, Ms. Malik?
With regard to this traffic signal specialist, have we had these before? And I know last year we've had a lot of discussion about the special camera lights and whatnot. So can someone just tell me about using these people?
Council President?
Chief Schulhaver?
Council President?
I can,
And also another question about how much?
Council
Yeah.
President?
Mr. Hudak,
yeah, this is,
respond?
this is General
This isn't really-
Electric, as we bid this contract out, we've had them for a number of years. This is fixing all the traffic signals, this has nothing to do with the red light cameras, this is the regular traffic signalization. They fix the lights and the boxes.
Thank you.
And the fee
Mr.
for
Brown,
this?
you have a comment on that?
Yes, Council President, yes, this doesn't have to do with the red light cameras. Al McDonald can talk more about this. He has the information. It's not the police department, it's on the public property.
And also the amount that we're spending for this 6-month period? Just
With your permission, Council President, I know Al's been working closely with the finance director, and she's not here.
Mr. McDonald?
He can speak about it. He has more information, yeah.
This allows us to utilize the Morris County Cooperative Pricing Agreement with Gen Electric to do repairs, emergency repairs on our traffic signals. We are no longer having a contract with them as far as we don't pay them anything more than what we utilize them for. So this just allows us to do it. It's like state contract purchasing. The bidding has already been done, and through the Morris County agreement, we get to use their pricing agreement, which is nothing more than a bidding process that we get at a reduced rate. So this is just allowing us to utilize that. There's no set price. It's whatever we utilize them for.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Al. In the past, what happens is that we appropriate, like last year, for example, I think we appropriated money. We had a contract up front.
We did have a contract with them, but we found that there is the possibility that we will save money by not having a standing contract and just utilizing them for the emergency repairs. We're going to do a little more work in-house than we were doing in the past. Hopefully, this will work out to our advantage. So this is kind of a trial period.
Thank you, Ms. Malik. Motion, please?
Mr. President, I move for approval of Resolution 2014-120 and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Minichinko?
Yes.
Yamakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. On 123, Ms. Malik?
Can someone just explain what is forensic accounting services?
I could explain that, Council
Thank
President.
you, Mayor.
This is in regards to the Southwood Avenue Development Project. We're in partnership with the Union County Improvement Authority in regards to the knocking down of those, acquiring those buildings on Southwood Avenue by the Linwood Tavern, knocking them down, and then getting a developer, Capadagli Developers, to build a 176-unit apartment building on that property. We are in possession of the deed at this point. The minute Capadagli Builders gets their financing contracts with the bank signed, and I understand it's on the desk of the bank right now, they will pay us $1 million for that vacant piece of property. The issue is that we do owe the Union County Improvement Authority some monies because of asbestos removal and the knocking down of certain buildings. We are debating with the Union County Improvement Authority on how much money we owe them. But so that this project does not become, so it's not put on hold, once we close with Capadagli Builders and they give us the $1 million, we are putting that in an escrow account so that the building could be built, and then we are going to hire a professional forensic accountant to go through the bills that Union County is providing the city of Linden because we feel they are charging us too much money. And once that's done, they'll take their money out of the $1 million, and then we'll be able to put it in our general budget, and the building will commence to be built.
Okay.
Thank you. Motion, please.
Mr. President, I move for approval of Resolution 2014-123 and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Medichinko.
Yes.
Yamakitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. I'd like to move into ordinance on first reading. Mr. Clerk, 58-5.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2, Police Regulations of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and amended and supplemented. Chapter 3, Police Regulations, Section 3-12, Reserved, delete Section 3-12, Reserved, add new Section 3-12, Nuisance Alarm as follows. First false alarm, $50. Second false alarm, $100. All subsequent false alarms, $150.
Thank you. Members of the audience who wish to comment on this? Motion, please.
Mr. Council President, I'd like to move on introduction ordinance 5805 and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Crosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Minorchenko?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 58-6, please.
An ordinance establishing the position of special law enforcement officers in the City of Linden Police Department.
Members of the audience have comments? Motion, please.
Yes, Council President, I seek a motion for the introduction of 58-06 and seek a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
No.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Minorchenko?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 58-7.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $357,500 for the acquisition of an automated garbage truck for the Public Works Department and authorizing the issuance of $339,625 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost.
Comments from the audience? Motion, please.
Yes, Mr. President, I move for introduction of ordinance 5807 and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling?
Yes.
Sadowski?
Yes.
Minorchenko?
Yes.
Yemekaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 58-8, please.
Bond ordinance amending bond ordinance number 5728 adopted on June 18, 2013 for the acquisition of a new CAD software system to provide for an increase in the appropriation to $961,500 from $841,500.
Members in the audience wish to comment? Please come up.
I just wanted to basically ask a question, if you can expand on what the CAD software system was again? Is this that cloud-based program that they were talking about putting into the police department?
Chief?
Thank you.
Software system.
Please, Chief, your mic.
Okay, if you recall, last year, we passed a bond ordinance to purchase new CAD and record management software for the police, fire departments, and central dispatch. This cost here is an additional cost. It's associated with retrieving information from our old software vendor and transferring that onto the new software. There's a cost for that. Because every computer software vendor has proprietary language, and that the old company is the only one that can interpret it for us and translate it.
Does that answer your question? Thank you. I'll ask for a motion, please.
Council President, make a motion for ordinance 58-08 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Minorchenko?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 58-9, please.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $180,400 for the acquisition of 4 sports utility vehicles for the police department and authorizing the issuance of $171,380 in bonds or notes for financing part of the appropriations.
Questions for members of the audience? Motion, please.
Council President, make a motion for ordinance 58-09 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Minorchenko?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. 58-10, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Departments Established, Section 2-13, Department of Fire as follows. Delete 2-13.1, Creation of Department Supervision in its entirety, and add new 2-13.1, Creation of Department Supervision as follows. 1 chief, 5 deputy chiefs, 17 fire captains, 20 fire lieutenants, and 79 firefighters.
Thank you. Questions from the audience? Motion, please.
Mr. President, I move for introduction of ordinance 58-10 and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Byer?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Cosby Hurling? Sadowski?
Yes.
Minorchenko?
Yes.
Yemakaitis?
Yes.
Medina?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. We'll move into comments from members of the public in attendance on city business. Anyone didn't get a chance to sign the sheet? Wishes to speak?
You have to sign the sheet, Mr. Ang.
So while we're doing that, I'll ask Dennis Kobe to come on up, please. 3 minutes.
You're welcome. Huh?
Dennis Kobe, 135 Palisade Road. I'd like to compliment the DPW department on the job they've done plowing and salting the roads. Been an unbelievable winter. Besides doing that, they must collect garbage, recycling, they clear the train stations, stairs, and walkways. They're doing it with less men and equipment. They're also working between 3 garages, municipal garage, public property, and the old DPW. It's not easy jockeying trucks and men back and forth. The morale is pretty low, but they still step up and do a great job for this public. Also, I don't know if the residents ever go online and look at the Public Works Department winter weather report. Every year we put it out. Some of the council addressed some of the issues in there, like snow emergency streets, keeping cars off the roads, trying to utilize other people's driveways. There's also, nobody alluded to, was try to not clear out your aprons till the last minute. Even though the snow ends, we still got 6 hours of work to do after the storm's over. So many complaints, like when I worked for Public Works, where they plowed in my driveway after I cleared it. Give us a chance. We have to get to the curb. The town will look so much better if we're able to get to the curb. So I have to say that they're doing a tremendous job. I just wish maybe council in your newsletters, maybe put it out there right before winter time. This Public Works winter weather report. Put it on TV. It'll help maybe keep the residents off the street and less complaints. One thing I wish we would do, though, is on Wood Avenue to Business District. I used to plow from Wood Avenue to Roselle Street, and it used to bother me at 11 o'clock at night after the businesses would close. There'd be people parked on Wood Avenue. The next morning, that car's still there. We're done plowing, and Wood Avenue looks horrible because 1 or 2 vehicles were on the business district of Wood Avenue. I heard somebody say that they towed about 20 vehicles. I hope we stay on top of that because it would be nice to have Wood Avenue clean. But again, thank you. And I'd like to congratulate the employees who were promoted and the employees who were hired. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gibbons, Donald Gibbons.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Donald Givens, Jr., and I'm here tonight to touch on an issue that affects our children and it affects the city. And it's about what's going on at the John Street Recreation Building, but actually it's much bigger than that. The system of cronyism that has run prevalent in this town for many years, how we wind up with people running important departments in Linden that, first of all, that they don't even come from Linden. Secondly, we get stuck with people that I believe that really don't care about Linden. They care about a paycheck. I'm going to read my statement. We have a major problem. Like I said, it's not just about, my issue stems from the rec center because I deal with children and I want to work with the city. But like I said, it's bigger than that. How did we, the rec center is a mess. We're having the police called over there to keep the staff from killing each other. You understand? It's all kind of foolishness. And I was there this morning. I go there on a regular basis. This is not me talking from across the street. I'm there. I want to read this, and this is how I feel, and a lot of citizens in this town feel now. I'm here today to discuss what I think is a long overdue problem, issue in the city of Linden. The system of hiring practices and cronyism. How do we wind up with the wrong people in positions that affect our children and our city? I feel that the entire recreation department, from top to bottom, needs to be overhauled. My biggest issue is how do we wind up with people running important departments in Linden that don't even come from Linden or from Union County, for that matter. Volpe, Essex County. McDonald, Essex County. Luciano, Essex County. And now Lance Henderson, Essex County. We have now a person running the John Street Center that does not come from here. I understand he's a friend of Al McDonald's. That's how he got the job. I don't know how Wally Dixon was overlooked for that job, but he would have been the perfect person for that. The John Street Rec Center, in my opinion, is a failure because we don't have the right qualified people running it. The system that has been put in place here for many years, a system I believe that's been going on since John Gregorio, has failed, and it's failing our children, and it's failing the city. The system that allows people who have no connection to Linden other than to collect a paycheck has got to stop. There are many qualified people who are raised in Linden that are overlooked because they will not play the games. My father, Donald Gibbons Sr., Wally Dixon, myself, just to name a few, have been pushed away and outcast in our own town because we will not play the game. The recreation department is a failure in my opinion because you have people running it, employed by it, that do not come from here, and frankly, I don't believe that they care about Linden other than to collect a paycheck. I'm here today to let you all know that there's a coalition of people. People are tired. Your job is to serve. When you are a council person or the mayor, whatever, you have to serve. That community, that center is not serving the public. It's been here over 20 years. And Rashana just, and no fault of hers, she just spoke about starting things. Been here 20 years and we're still trying to start things at that center? I got a problem with that. We couldn't even get a basketball league. This all stems from me asking Mr. Henderson why the basketball league wasn't happening this year. To this day, to this moment, he hasn't called me back.
1 minute, sir.
Okay. In my view, we need a clean sweep of the rec department. Everyone who has been a part of it, of this system, for the past 25 years, they really should go. We need to start from scratch, employ people, first of all, who come from Linden, and secondly, people who really care about this city. This is not so much about Lance or the others. It's about the system. We have a system of cronyism that must be broken in Linden. If you don't play, you don't get paid, it has got to stop. Our children and the people of Linden are suffering because of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gretchen Hickey.
Can I say something?
Hello, everyone. Gretchen Hickey in Wood Road. Recently, well, after seeing Councilman Medina's 9th Ward page, how well it was working, I was given the 10th Ward page on Facebook. I've had many people who have been responding, and probably most likely due to the storm as well. First and foremost, I do want to commend the DPW. I understand that they're short their equipment, they're short men, and I do appreciate all the hard work they do. I know they're taken away from their families for long hours, and they did do the best they can. We had a horrendous snow season. Hopefully we won't have any more, but who knows? But I did have some comments from people from the 10th Ward who weren't able to come here, or maybe they're afraid to speak, but they're issues, not complaints necessarily, but they're issues that they'd like to see maybe put forth in the future and be resolved. So I'm just gonna rattle off a few different things. First and foremost, one of the big problems is around the Lindcrest apartments with University Terrace, Hollywood, Academy. Those streets are just so tight. The people have nowhere to park to begin with, and obviously, even around that area, there isn't really an area that we can even have the people park for situations like this. So what happens is they go and they park around Kent Place, around Deerfield. Some of the cars have been left there for 3 weeks at a time on Kent Place. So it isn't fair to those residents, and it isn't fair to the residents in the apartment buildings as well. So maybe we can, in the future, come up with some kind of solution, whether it be one side of the street parking or permit parking for Kent Place. You know, they do pay a lot of money in taxes, and it's really frustrating when they're out there with their snow blowers and they can't even, you know, clean the front of their houses, and the cars are sitting there for weeks. Another big complaint was, this was a complaint, and it is a big issue, is in front of McManus Middle School. Even the pictures posted today on Facebook were absolutely horrendous. You could not get by. People were getting their side view mirrors smashed, not smashed, but hit by vehicles getting by. Everyone's stubborn, nobody wants to move, and it becomes absolute chaos. Maybe in the future, during the winter months, we can put up signs, maybe for no parking on both sides of the street, or maybe look into having some kind of traffic study done that during school hours we can make a one-way, and parents can find other alternatives to drop off their children on the side. The safety of the kids are really becoming an issue over there, because there are a lot of people who just don't think and don't listen, and they're stopping in the middle of the road and they're letting their kids cross. You know, we do have a few children whose mothers do have to help them out of the cars and into school, and that's understandable. And I saw it the other day. They got out quickly, they let their child so they didn't slip on the ice, and got right back in their car and moved. Actually, I think it was your sister, Derek. Moved right along, but you could tell that she was, you know, worried and upset that, you know, it was such traffic jam. Another resident also was discussing about the crossing guard on the corner of Princeton and Stiles Street. The crossing guard has apparently been taken away. You know, there's a lot of children that live over on the area street over by Georgian Drive and those intersections, the area across the street from Stiles Street, and they can't even cross to school now. You know, the lights there's 3 different lights. So you have it change one way on Stiles, one way on Princeton, and then it goes again, and on Forest it turns again. And now not having a crossing guard, they're afraid to let their children walk to school. I believe there's even kids from Deborah Drive that walk down and want to cross the street. And it isn't just a few kids. For many years, I know there's been a crossing guard there since I was a little girl, because my grandmother lived on Georgian Drive, and when I did get a bad report card, I'd walk to her house instead of going home. So that one was a big issue. I know the mayor already addressed the potholes on DeWitt Street. I tried to explain to people that DeWitt Terrace that you know, you have to wait until the snow dries up. I did notice coming here that one of the huge ones on DeWitt and St. George was taken care of. Lastly, we, as president of the Cultural Committee, we set a date at our previous meeting, Saturday, September 27th. We will be having September to Remember. Hopefully, weather permitting, it will be as successful as last year. We already have vendors calling us to place their spots. In July, Mystic Vision Players, the Cultural Committee, is hosting All Shook Up, which is a play about Elvis Presley. They did a phenomenal job last year, and we're looking forward to them being just as successful this year. And lastly, I'd just like to thank everyone who showed up for Casino Night at the Linden Housing Authority. On behalf of Ann Ferguson, myself, and all the employees at Linden Housing, we had a great night. Every year we're getting bigger and better, and I can't thank everyone for their support.
Gretchen, can you tell us who won the decorating contest?
Oh, decorating contest. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Decorating contest in the 5th Ward was Christopher Lukenda and his family.
Sorry.
He won Most Elegant. He had white lights from the front of his curb to the back of his garage doors along his fence. It was very, very pretty. The second house was a Mr. Ward. He was in the 3rd Ward, and he was on the corner of, help me out?
Clark and Union, I believe.
Well, let me tell you, this man was so excited and enthralled. When I went to his house, he had every decoration going from hockey nets to football goalies. And when I went to his house and gave him his award, he goes, "Wait there 1 minute." He went into his home, he brought out an award, a plaque for Mayor Gregorio from 1994, which must have been sitting on his end table. And you know what? It made his day, and he was just so, so excited. And the last family was on Kent Place. Liz Welsh, the Welsh family. They won for most decorative, most lights, colorful. So they were all very happy with everything, and it was a nice little event that we did. We're hoping next year we can have a winner in every single ward, because I hate leaving anyone out, and hopefully all the council members will help us choose, and you can leave something off of me and the mayor for a change for making all these tough decisions. So anyway, that's it, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Jacqueline Williams, please.
Are you gonna let me talk?
Councilwoman.
Yes. I was trying to just respond to what Mr. Givens was saying. We just got the committee. The committee is myself, Councilman Armstead, and Councilman Byer. And you can rest assured that we are looking to make change and make things happen for the kids. We've been talking about it for the last 3 years that I've been up here. And you should be included in that conversation as a member of the community. Like, supervisors, you know, work for you. They work, and I work for you. So if you have ideas, absolutely go to those people that are in place, because at this point, they're here. We'll talk about it offline, but it's our job. Again, a spirit of cooperation. We have to want to do the right things right for our community.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I apologize that I missed that cue from you. Thank you. And that will bring us to Speaker Jacqueline Williams.
Thank you and good evening, members of the City Council, Mayor, Council President. I basically just wanted to come up here and acknowledge a few of the city workers who I think did an excellent job. They pretty much surprised me when we first had the first snow storm when it first hit. I got off the train, it was late at night, of course, because the train system was shot. But by the time I got home, it had to be around 8 o'clock at night. And to my surprise, there were some gentlemen riding around in a pickup truck. I believe they were from the Recreation Department, don't quote me. But I asked for their names because what they did was unbelievable. They were there patrolling the lot by the train station, and they helped each and every individual, especially the women, dig out their cars. It had to be about 8 feet of snow there, and I, for one, was very thankful because I had no clue how I was going to be able to get out of that spot, and they saw me trying to kick the snow with my feet because I didn't have a shovel or anything. So I promised them that I would come and let the mayor know about their good deeds. One of the gentlemen's name was Ashton Giles. The other one just said Joey, and the other gentleman that was with them, I didn't get his name, so I do apologize to him for that. But I just wanted to just thank the city for having such good workers. I also wanted to thank some of my neighbors who, every time a snowflake fell, they were plowing out my property, my driveway. I do appreciate that. I do want to ask a question about the salt, because DPW did do an excellent job plowing out our streets. However, after they plowed, they basically became like an ice skating rink. And there was not an ounce of salt down. And needless to say, after I was so happy about what was going on at the train station, I ended up falling and injuring myself pretty badly. I was out of work for about a week because I slipped on some ice at the train station. So I just wanted to ask, what was the situation with the salt? Do you even have a budget for salt? And if not, can we look forward to that next year? The other thing, just very quickly,
For the salt, let me ask Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry, Ms. Williams, before you came in, we had Lou come up to talk about the salt situation.
Oh.
So if Lou, you just want to talk about it again, Public Works and Recreation. Because I know the train station is an issue too, which I brought to Al's attention, but.
Good. We, very little salt left. The reason the streets turned that way was, we normally hit them hard. After we plow, flattens the ground out because we're not at the bottom. We use a rubber blade. And we just have no salt, so just the main drags are getting it. Hopefully the tires carry it onto the smaller streets. The situation is not good. We're not getting salt. It's not money. City gave, we have plenty of money to buy the salt. Matter of fact, they still owe us about 400 ton. It's in the middle of the bay, I hear.
And in fact, I'm sorry, even Lou, we didn't talk about this earlier. How much has the salt increased?
Well, that's the problem. We're under a contract, a co-op, and I think we're paying like $68.50 delivered a ton. And they're actually getting $150 to $200 a ton. So the state's paying, I think the state's paying $175 a ton, so they're not delivering to municipalities or counties. It's going to the state.
Thank you. And you may continue. I stopped the clock for you.
oh, I'm sorry, thank you. There were just two other things I wanted to touch upon. Since you guys had mentioned about letting you know about the potholes, there were a couple that I hit, and I wasn't really too happy about it. I thought I had actually blown out my tire. There was one over by the train station on Elizabeth Avenue, by the driveway, the entrance of it. And the other one was over, I believe that's Linden Avenue, going towards BJ's, that side street on the corner of where the cemetery ends, and you turn down that street going towards BJ's. I wouldn't even call that a pothole. That's basically like a crater in the street. And unfortunately, because it was so dark, I wasn't able to see it, and I think it was raining and snowing at the same time on top of it. So I literally went down into the hole. Thank God my car didn't stay there. It pretty much bounced around, and I bounced out of the hole. But that's something, even if you can't fix it right away, I think there should be either some police tape or a cone or something there to let individuals know, because I was truly afraid. I almost ended up in the banks and headed towards the woods because I couldn't control my car.
Mr. Sadowski has a comment.
That was by BJ's, right?
Yes.
You know, I came out there, there was I forget what day it was. That pole was there, and someone had put a cone right in the middle of it. I don't know if it's still there or not. But without the cone...
It wasn't there the other night when I
Well,
went.
no,
I
that's
wish
what I'm
it
saying.
was.
Without the cone, you had trouble.
All right, thank you so much.
And Councilman Brown has
Oh, sorry.
a comment.
You done with the potholes, or I'll wait till you
Yeah, I'm done with the potholes.
And I'm glad you mentioned the potholes, which is something I should have mentioned. To set the expectations of residents, you know, Public Works and Public Property mentioned this yesterday, is that we even might have to take a only tree crew out of commission, again, because they're so short, to switch over to fix some of these potholes. So I know they're gonna get these done as quickly as possible. So I just want to make sure, as people give their list to the mayor or to Public Works, that we are taking this, and, you know, I guess they're going to do it by priority as far as, you know, getting these done as quickly as possible, but please be patient with that as well.
No, I don't have a problem. It's such a dangerous spot
Yes.
that, you know, like I said, if they could just at least put some type of cone there until you can get to it, that would be good. The last thing, I just wanted to say that Ms. Gretchen, who was up here, she pretty much took the words out of my mouth. When it comes to the narrow streets, and not just the 10th Ward, I believe it may have been the 5th Ward, Charles Street. Is that in your ward?
Absolutely.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay. I think it would be a good idea to turn some of these narrower streets into one-sided parking, especially when it snows really bad. I took my daughter to drop off her girlfriend after they came from the movies, and I could not once I entered the street, I couldn't get out because another car was coming from another direction, and there were 3 other cars behind me, so I couldn't even back up to let this person pass by. So we literally sat there for about 5 minutes staring at each other like who's going to move, because I can't go to the left or to the right because there are cars on both sides of me. So I do wish that the city council would consider making some of these smaller streets a one-way. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I
Mr.
respond to that?
Councilwoman Cosby Hurley?
On Charles Street, our challenge on Charles Street is we have a large apartment building, we have a 6th family. People did not utilize what was offered to them, which was the use of the LMPC parking lot. People want to park in front of their house and they don't want to move. I've requested a traffic study for Adams Street, and we have issues over there. One-ways aren't that easy. You know, for issues like this, if we can get more cooperation from our neighbors, then we would go free and clear. They weren't even able to plow that. And then one of my other neighbors, he has a plow, so he plows right in front of his house, makes the snow worse because he pushes it out and it just sits there. So, like, I appreciate your comments, but the resolution is park in the lots, and we won't have a problem. Sorry. I still want a one-way mayor on Adams.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. I ask Ronald Yang, come up, please.
Thank you. My name is Ronald Eng, and I've lived on Hudson Street for 10 years. I want to thank Councilmember Crosby Hurley and the mayor for asking me to attend last night's caucus meeting. And I'm very, I was surprised and thankful that the people at the caucus felt that whatever I had to say was of sufficient interest that not only would be willing to listen to me again, but also have members of the people present here and those listening on cable television about the problem. I entitled my remarks, Reasons for Us to Urge Super Walmart to relocate elsewhere to help other areas with their cheap prices. I say Super Walmart, not the Walmart that's here already. I'm not in favor of having them be asked to move. Let me see, where am I? Let me give, since I've lived in Washington, D.C. for 26 years, let me give my New Jersey feeders. I'm sorry?
4 minutes.
Okay. I was born in Newark in 1943. My parents worked the laundry in Newark and East Orange. I was raised in Catholic schools. I went to Blessed Sacrament in Newark and Our Lady of All Souls in East Orange. My father was good enough to help pay for my tuition to Seton Hall Prep in South Orange. I won scholarships to go to Stevens Institute of Technology in mechanical engineering. I got my degree in '65, my bachelor's. I won a Ford Foundation Fellowship to attend Princeton University's engineering school, and I graduated there from '68. After that, of course, I had to find jobs sometimes elsewhere. So I basically had a major career in Washington, D.C. So let me give you the kinds of things that inform my thinking, but I also agree that I may be mistaken about what's happening here because I have not been party to discussions or been part of the community meetings that I hear occurred before I moved here. Anyway, the jobs I've had include being energy manager for the DC public school system. I was responsible for creating an energy master plan for the 100 schools in accordance with a congressionally mandated ability to upgrade the DC public schools. I have been a staff member of the DPW's Office of Policy Development, in which I was involved in such things as be part of a team to create an RFP for $100 million trash transfer facility and alternatives to landfill problems with the state of Pennsylvania.
Mr. Yang, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. That's part of it. So I've also been legislative, committee clerk for the DC Council's Committee on Public Works.
If I have a moment, would you ever consider volunteering for a board or a commission to, public service?
I've done a lot of that in DC, but right now...
I'm sorry to throw you off.
No, that's okay. We can talk about that later. Anyway, to get to my concern tonight, as I said, I want Super Walmart, not the locator. Let me give you my reasons. First of all, let me get perfectly clear. I'm an individual at this point. I've worked at Pathmark as a cashier for 6 years. However, neither my union, my management, or Jim Glass of ShopRite have asked me to come here. So right now, I speak as an individual. Okay, my personal concern is the following. As an example, while probably I and any Super Walmart employees would be minimum wage workers, as an example, we have a union-sponsored medical and dental plan, but those workers would not have a medical and dental plan. What if Walmart knocks out us, Pathmark and ShopRite? Then we might have upwards of 100 displaced employees. So 2 problems. One, would even if we were to be hired by Super Walmart, not all of us would be hired.
30 seconds.
Thank you. And so my feeling particularly for the citizens here is I would like to feel that with the development of the current GM site from what I hear is 40 stores to more like the Potomac Mills Mall in Virginia, which has 200 stores on the same 100-acre lot, that we could have complementary kinds of stores. As a perfect example, Super Walmart, of course, would pay property taxes. Well, wouldn't another store that's the same size of that pay the same property taxes? So why the interest just in Super Walmart? Anyway, remember also that workers in our union get a pension. There would be no pension in Super Walmart. You're right, as a citizen, I've testified before the DC Council on budget matters, including the unfunded $5 billion unfunded deficit for pensions for police and firemen.
Your time's up.
I'm sorry?
Your time's up.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, I'd be quite willing to prepare remarks and submit them to the council. Anybody in the public who would like a copy of those remarks can call me at 908-925-5242.
Would you be willing to hang around at the end of the meeting and speak with me for a moment?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The following council meetings will be as follows. Council conference meeting Monday, March 17th, 2014 at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting Tuesday, March 18th, 2014, 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall, 301 Northwood Avenue. Council meeting Tuesday, March 18th, 2014 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Byer.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Crosby Hurling.
Yes.
Sadowski.
Yes.
Minichinko.
Yes.
Yamakaitis.
Yes.
Medina.
Yes.
Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes. Good night, everyone.